Good afternoon. Very happy to be here in Vijayawada branch for taking this session on bank branch audit, and that too, this is the last session of the 2 day program. Maybe I would request members to whatever the doubts that you have, and maybe you had some expectation that okay, this area I did not understand, or I'm here, I wanted to know. Maybe the earlier speakers who have not covered, and you want to know more about it. Feel free to ask, and looking at the time and the scope, we will look at it. I'll address that. Though yesterday's session you had one session on technology, and maybe as the branch rightly had put it the 2 sessions on the technology. Today it is so essential that without using technology, you cannot conduct the bank branch audit. I would be showing some of the Excel files, and the people at the back, definitely it would not be visible because the font size and everything would be less. So I would be requesting people who are sitting in the bank come to occupy the first 3 rows, so that you will be easy. Otherwise, you will get lost in the WhatsApp. The moment something is boring, automatically your mind, phone, everything, attention goes and opens something. So you'll automatically get lost, right? Okay. Frontline consultant. Okay. See, in terms of the bank branch audit, there are multiple challenges. Challenge number one, see, we are as a CA practicing chartered accountants, we are good in audits, we are expert in audits, and we have handled audit. So audit is not a challenge or new to us. The only thing is when it comes to the bank branch, it's not that we usually do it. Unlike income tax, I file income tax returns for at least some 50-60 clients. I do tax audits 50-60. I do stat audit 50-50. So automatically everything is there in your back of mind. But when it comes to the bank branch audit, you are doing only once in a year. So a refresher course like this will help you to recall as to what are all the things I should do, what are the things I have done, okay, what is that I should be geared up. Because the time that we have in the bank branch audit is very less. Maximum 1 week is per branch, is what that you can dedicate or allot. So given that the time is less, so it's important that where you focus on what areas is more important. Sir, in between, do we have a break for tea or?
Yeah, we will take it.
Okay.
There is a session break for break.
So, yeah, you let me know whenever the break is needed. So
Can we wait up to 4:15 or 4:30 so that we can have tea and then directly go, rather than again going out and assembling it? It will take 15-20 minutes time.
Yeah.
We will continue the session, sir.
We'll continue the session,
Yeah.
and
Thank you.
we'll directly break at 4:15 to good. All right. So the agenda for the session is, firstly, I have put up what are the points as the expectation the central statutory auditors have or the bank has from the bank branch auditor. And basically something which we don't pay attention to. I just brought one slide to just explain what is Basel and what is our need to do. Most part of the time I will spend on how do I use Excel as an audit tool, and what do we need to do, financial statements of the branch, and how do we analyze, is what I am going to cover. Now, starting with the first one, which is the expectation of the bank from the branch audit. What do you think is the expectation?
Get out from the branch.
Get out from the branch early. I will go first there, but before going out, something is there.
Anti-manager is
One is like nil MOC. That is,
100%.
that's their expectation. But MOC is one expectation. Like you have to sign MOC. What else? LFAR is something you have to sign. MOC you have to sign. LFAR you have to sign. Then
Audit report.
first is branch audit report. Yeah, audit report, MOC, LFAR. Then how many certificates? Whatever comes to my table, I'll have to sign. So anything between 20 to 50. Anything between 20 to 50 depends on the type of the branch, type of the loans and everything. So, and lastly, financial statements. So because audit report is financial statements not forming part of the audit report. Audit report, MOC, LFAR, certificates and the financial statement. So this is what you have to sign.
That is your manager will say.
That is not expected from the bank branch audit. For your own sake, so that the bill is clear, to prove that yes, I am here, you will enclose and send it. So those are all our internal working papers. So if you look at it, a branch audit report, MOC, LFAR, then if there are large advances, the separate certificate has to be issued. Foreign branch and asset recovery branch, there is a separate format. Just only some 2% of the total audit population fits into that. Next is financial statements. This is what you will be signing on the highline. Now, when it comes to the certificates, what are the certificates we are signing? So, various types of interest subventions, whether ECG claim, DICGC, interest, education loan, respective state governments would announce various policies saying that I will waive off this loan for the farmers. Now, when they announce that waiver, that doesn't mean that the bank has waived off. The money which bank otherwise has to earn that income, state government will be paying. Like today, when they say for the women traveling in the bus is free, that doesn't mean that the AP State Road Transportation is providing it for free. They are providing it. In turn, they are further collecting it from the respective state governments. Likewise, your interest subventions are some state dependent, some the scheme wise. So there is subvention which is given. So chartered accountant has to sign. That would be an underlying claim for the banks to make the statement. So this is also another working that one has to do. Next, apart from balance sheet signature, there will be many annexures to the balance sheet which they will want you to take the signatures. Today, it has become digital. I'm not sure if there are any banks which are where the workings are still offline, but at least 70–80% of the banks that your audit is completely online. Maybe 10 years back, if I was speaking on the bank branch audit, as a part of the checklist, we used to say carry stationery, carry letterhead, carry round seal, carry. So because you're going into different places, so we used to have all this checklist. Now nothing. The day one you go, digital signature you give. That is the first thing. Give it in the day one because they have to put it into the system, check the respective security tokens are working, all those things. That's all is required. No pen, no paper. All your signatures on this are digitally done. Even your audit report is digitally done. The only place where you need pen, paper and seal is if you have a qualification. And the place they have provided for the qualification is a small thing. So in your audit report, if you are saying that, okay, I am qualifying the audit report, then there will be another form that gets opened saying that please enter your qualification, where the place is anyhow so small that they don't want you to enter qualification beyond 50 words. So there you will say that there they also give an option that if it is more, attach. So when you are attaching, you cannot attach a plain paper. So there you will be entering it on a pen, on your letterhead, so seal it, sign it, and that document you will attach. Even that again, it would be attached digitally. Leaving that, every place it is using your digital signature. So what is more important when you're going to the bank branch audit is first check your digital signature is valid and not expired. If it is expired, please get it renewed. Of course, today the digital signature renewal is just an 15 minutes job. This is something that you have to do. So let's look into, other than this, what are the certificates that we are issuing. So if you look at it, there are various types, because mine is not technical, I'm not getting into the subvention. There are 12 different types of interest subventions, depends on bank, branch type to type. Common interest subvention could be an education loan related or a farming loan related. Again, most of the conditions, criteria for these subventions is a repayment in time. If the borrower has paid the money in time, basis that the subvention is provided and there will be a relief. So loan is renewed on time or repayments are on time. So various criteria are there. So from the part of the checklist, you will have to use that. Then related to balance sheet, there are 5 different types of returns. I'll again show them. P&L related 2 returns are there. Capital adequacy, 2 different returns are there. This is one I want to specially highlight because over the time, the RBI is also very, really very, they are very worried that the no bank should go. Of course, when there is a run on the bank, that means today all the depositors come and stand in front of the bank, no bank can stand. But at the same time, NPS mount, that shouldn't be kept the issue with the depositors at worried, right? Like look at this. If there are 2 banks, bank 1 has 1,000 crores loan, bank 2 also has 1,000 crores loan. Now both of you feel okay, they are at par, right? Both the banks have 1,000 crores loan. Now let's add another parameter. Bank 1 has 800 crores deposit and let's say 200 crores share capital. Bank 1 has 800 crores deposit and 200 crores share capital. Bank 2 has 700 crores deposit and 300 crores share capital. Right? If you look at the plain balance sheet, one is 200 capital, 800 crores borrowings by way of deposited, 1,000 is the balance sheet total, right side 1,000 is the loans that I have given. Now, if you have to invest in either of these banks, which is the bank you would choose to invest? Bank 1 is having 200 crores capital, bank 2 is having 300 crores capital, which is having more risk? First bank is risk, second bank is safe comparatively. So, okay, now I'll give another parameter. If you are a depositor, which is the bank you will put your money in? Which bank you think will be safe? First bank has 200 crores capital, second bank has 300 crores capital. From the depositor side, which one you will put money into? Second bank, saying that, okay, if 1,000 crores goes bad, 30% I will get in the second bank. In the first bank, I'll get 20%. Now I'll add one more parameter. Let's say these deposits have a maturity period. The first bank has the deposits maturing 5 years from now. Second bank has deposits maturing 2 years from now. Loan pattern is equal. Both the banks have loans and it will realize in 10 years from now. Now, which bank you think is safe or better? Bank A. Because the deposits will mature after 5 years. So there is no immediate need of the cash. Adding one more parameter. Now you are looking this 1,000 crores, which is there as loans in both the banks. Bank A has 500 crores given to real estate sector, 200 crores given to corporate sector, various businesses, 300 crores is given to small personal loans, salary loans, various types of loans. 500 real estate, 200 business banking or lend to corporates for business, 300 is personal priority sector, that is bank A portfolio. Bank B, given that the real estate is everything is booming, 800 crores is given into real estate, 200 crores is given to the commercial. So which is the bank you think will be the safe? But real estate is booming. So even though it is booming, the risks attached to it is high. Right? So now to analyze, like we chartered accountants itself, our decisions are changing. Which bank is good? Every time I introduce a new parameter, my thought about whether bank A is good or bank B is good is changing. How about the common man who doesn't understand much or anything? And that is where the bank said, I don't want to read the, RBI said, I don't want to read the total of the balance sheet. It means nothing. Even if you put that entire 1,000 crores is performing assets, I want to attach a risk to it, assign a weight to it, look at what is a risk weighted asset. 1,000 is your asset, but I want assess your risk and basis your risk weight. I want you to keep so much capital. I want your money should be there. The skin in the game should be there. That is what is expected. And the expectation of the bank branch auditor is to sign this capital adequacy statement, whether there is a sufficient capital with the bank or not. Now we are at a branch. How can I know what is the capital of the bank? So basis our certificate, it will all be consolidated and it will be taken as a risk weighted asset. It's very important that how we are certifying that. Most of the time, what I have noticed is when the branch auditors are signing, all that they will see is in the main balance sheet, what is my total of loans? How much is OD loan? How much is term loan? How much is personal loan? Total is XYZ. Capital adequacy statement, some statement which I don't understand, but is this total, that total matching? Okay, it's matching, then okay, fine. Please go ahead and sign this statement. There is a separate MOC for capital adequacy, which we don't even, the MOCs are also multiple types. MOC means not just one. So if the classification is wrong, you are expected to certify that. If the classification is wrong, you are expected to issue a memorandum of changes and then certify that. How do you do? How does the classification change? Classifications are basically, these are all like white collar crimes. No one will understand. Sometimes intentionally done, sometimes unintentionally done. Because the RBI also have an expectation that as a bank, you should give so much of the loan to priority sector. And time to time, they have staggered it. By March 23, ascertain so much. By March 24, they are increasing. So March 24, 45% is the expected number. And again, they have given tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 thing. Then there are subcategories. Not just that you give to one is sufficient. They expect so much should be education loan, so much to self-help groups or regional banking, MSME so much. And again, MSME is the customer is like you gave 1 lakh loan to someone, that doesn't become an MSME. He should have been registered as an MSME. So Udyog Aadhar should have been obtained and taken. Again, for the balance money which is being disbursed, there is a cap. I cannot lend so much to real estate sector. Even in real estate, you have wholesale real estate and retail real estate. So there are subcategory caps that have been established. Now, if you see the capital adequacy ratio statement which you are signing, that would actually show up the loans into a different format of presentation. That is what you are signing it. So you need to know the working of it. Yeah, so the from 21, so we have the new website. So you will have to get that micro, small, medium manufacturer trader services. So that categorization would come and it would be there. Then government guaranteed accounts, there is a separate certificate if there are any government guaranteed. So even if there are nil, there would be one certificate that would be coming. So when I say interest subvention 12, not necessary that you will be signing 12 if they're nil. But when it comes to government guaranteed accounts, if there are nil also, they will print that and get it assigned. So sometimes you will be signing nil certificates also. The question that comes is, how will you ensure that this nil is correct? What will you do to ensure that nil is also correct? Nil is nil. What can I do? So in the portfolio, there is like we are only talking about government guaranteed accounts. Let's say I have given loan to BHEL. Okay. Which is guaranteed, let's say, by central government. Now, will you certify, will you give a nil report? Will you give a nil report? Why no? Because I said they have given a guarantee. How will you know they have given a guarantee? Part of the documentation. There are 1,000 borrowers. 1,000 is a small number again. How will, in the sample, BHEL did not come. So based on the sample, I did not find any government guaranteed account, so I am certifying the nil. And now most of the time, okay, by the way, all these certificates are generated by the bank and they have a workflow system. Some clerk in the branch generates that certificate. It will be pushed to the central office because when I say clerk is preparing, clerk is also not preparing. Everything is parameterized. System generates all that certificate. Expectation of the clerk is to see if that is okay. He press a button, it says it is okay. It goes to the central section saying that someone has to authorize, who gives that authority to the manager. Manager will say okay. Once the manager will say okay, it will come into auditor's login saying that this is the certificate available for you to print and sign. Everything is system driven. So when you log in, so there will be something called audit workflow. So you just need to get into that. It will only show list of the certificates that you have to sign, and it will also show where is the status, whether the staff has initiated, whether it is branch manager waiting for approval or waiting for the auditor approval. It would be shown. So you will be seeing the list of the things. If you say something is wrong, as an auditor, you can revoke. So there is no concept of that printing the certificate and saying that I don't agree. So that concept is like certificates is like you will have a clean certificates. So you will revoke that. It will again go back to the clerk where he will have to redo that. Again, manager will approve and you will sign. One important thing here you should be careful for. By the way, in the system, anything is possible. After you signed that nil government guarantee, then the central office says, how are you signing nil? There are two accounts where there is a central government. Please go and change. Then they will come to auditor saying that, okay, this has to be revoked. So in the central office section, they will unlock the certificate, removing the digital. The moment certificate is that document is unlocked, your signature will get removed because you have tampered with the document, which means it comes back to your section asking you to sign. So the manager will come back to you and say, sir, please revoke. The moment you revoke, it goes back to the clerk section. So eventually the process is the entire documents have to be signed online. Whatever you are signing, you can take a copy of it. Today, banks doesn't permit to take any of the data from their system to your laptop. Please get. You cannot get how much ever good friend your manager is or whatever. He will say, sir, I don't know. Good mail. Even mails will not permit to send the data if the file has deposit account number or loan account number. If there is a customer sensitive information is there, those will not be processed. So they have a software which will check if there is a file, it has one account number and the content, it will go through. But if the file has account numbers and balance, it will be stopped at the branch level itself. The mail will also not come. So as a part of your audit working papers, you will not get list of borrowers, list of deposit holders. You will not get as a part of the working papers. Most documents can be collected through email. The branch manager, in fact, the branch manager will give you one system. He will say, sir, this is my password. So password means pass the word. So he gives you his word. So you will log in. He will open the email. Whatever you want, please attach here and send it. Whatever you want to see, here is the CB's login and you see. Don't ask me how to see, that I don't know. You see, this is how the branch audit starts. He will allocate one system and he will also create something called common folder. So because there is an account section, deposits, cash, everything, there will be a common folder. So anything you need, you can put it there, or anything you want, someone will put there, you can take it from there. Take it from there meaning is there in that system. From there, you cannot put a pen drive and take it to your system. Max, you can send an email. That too, if the manager is friendly, something can be sent an email. Otherwise, that would lie there as your audit working papers. Now peer review comes, where is your audit working papers? System to folder X of the branch. That's how it is. So find a way to take snapshots, find a way to take some of the data, at least the key data that you have relied upon. Then you have Ghosh and Jilani committee. This is one standard sleeping report. So it has each one has some 10 pages, so we don't even know what to write. It says this is something branch manager has to answer. So you will make accountant sit next to you. You will keep reading. He will say yes, no, whatever he will be saying. You are. Sir is saying based on the past report, you will have to put. Even the past report, you know how they have done. So, like whenever in the school days we'll tell no. So if you are copying from that person, you are confident that he has written a right answer. He is not confident that it was the right answer. Okay. So earlier it was Ghosh and Jilani, but later Mitra committee report also got added. So that is something you will be signing. And there is a statement of provisions which is required for other assets. Okay, other than NPA, if you need any provision, anyhow in your LFAR there is one clause, no, which is that for statement required for provision of other assets. LFAR, which clause? Sundry assets, all sundry assets.
Not recoverable.
Not recoverable, but more than 6 months. Okay. And in the table which is there, one more column that is there, if provision there or provision required, there you will comment. Okay. Then if there is any delay in commercial operations for any of the loan which is given, and if there is extension which has been granted, that one certificate is there. Then provisioning relating to advances and non-advances. IRAC classification, provisioning is different, classification is different. Interest capitalization on restructured. Certificate for CGT MSc scheme, because this is one popular the scheme for various banks to give for unsecured loan, because central government gives a guarantee, say up to 2 crores, 5 crores, even if the loan goes bad, I'll give so much of the amount. If there are any expired leases, provision for their fixed assets, they will send you a list of the fixed assets you will have to sign. If there is any exposure with the entities with the UFC, very less, hedging very less, or will not be there. These many different returns that exist. So typically between 20 to 50 certificates you will issue. Now, how will I know the branch which I am going, that what are all the things I have to do? Where is the checklist for you?
They last some page, all the reports to be signed and.
Earlier days, we used to had one page. What are all the things which I have to sign? Central statutory auditors, branch inspection. Now that is not there.
Yeah, out of audit for the last 2 years.
So, sir has said one valid point. There is something called annual closing circular. Not issued to the branch auditors, but it issued to the branch managers and for the branch accountants. And that's what they are sending it, or sending it to the stat auditors. Not necessarily. Yeah, in some banks, along with the allotment, they are giving a closing circular. Read that. That is one very important document. You can think that as your planning document. In case for your bank, you did not get it, you just go to the manager, ask him, can you give your closing circular? Closing circular will clearly say what statutory auditors have to sign. In fact, that will also say there are some certificate only branch managers have to sign. So it will clearly say what has to be done. More importantly, it will say from where the values to that report come. So where do you go to the report section for the values to be obtained will be there in it. So that requires that you need to be little tech savvy about the bank branch audit. Typically, if I have to tell about a CBS environment, imagine like Tally as our accounting software, which everyone are familiar with, right? Now, if you want to go to the report section of the Tally, other than P&L and balance sheet, where do we go? Display, statement of accounts, more reports, some report section. Now, the data for the report section is pulled from the underlying ledgers and the transactions. But Tally is such a small software and small data. Imagine the bank. It is huge. Now, the display that report will only give the standard reports which is prepared by the Tally. Let's say the owner of the company is asking, I want to know the sales by salesperson. Like I want to know a pivot table. Which are the employees? Let's say my total sales is 10 crores. I want by employee. So then you told the accountant saying that create sales from person as a ledger name. Now, after preparing that report, the owner is coming and saying, okay, good job, good report. Now I want to know that how much has been sold in Karnataka, how much has been sold in AP, how much of this is like, okay, then I need to know which outlet from where it has gone. So do some customization. Then he'll come back to say, okay, I know from these outlets it has gone, but who are the customers? How much has been purchased by Karnataka customers, this customer, this, another report. Which are the goods which have been sold fast moving in one category, slow moving in another category. Then one other report that comes. I want by the profitability margin, the goods sold which has more than 20%, 30% in that category. Now imagine the fate of the accountant. But this is what the expectation of the management. Like the job of the accountant is to provide the accounting reports. You may say that hell with it. My job is only to debit customer, credit sales, credit GST liability. Rest you do whatever you want to do. Right. So, but today, I think those days have gone where you can just do debit credit. Today, it is all about management accountants. You account it the way the management wants. Now, for a small, one simple 10 crores turnover who is asking this many reports, imagine the bank, the kind of information that would be required. From where do we prepare these reports? That is where they will have something called BI reports. They call it as BO, business object reports. There would be a separate module for it. There would be a separate module for it. So you should be knowing there is something called BO objects. 90% of the reports that you want will be there in it. Everyone will have. Everyone will have separate module, business object reports.
Asking the data, they do the summarize. So number of accounts from intervention. We asking them give the detailed breakup of those accounts. They did not know. They said that I did not know the DO will find the data.
So if you see the annual closing thing, sir is saying there is one point called interest subvention. So they have around 247 accounts and XYZ interest amount, the renew timely period. So 4%, let's say subvention to be given, they have computed 4% value of it and they are given an amount. So sir is asking, I am willing to cooperate, I am willing to sign, I will sign, but tell me who are these 247 people? So I'm not asking, prove me the 247 has paid in time or not. First, give me list of 247. He is saying, what did he say? I don't know. He says, sir, I'm asked to get the signature on you. I'm giving it to you. I don't know. Now, when you go to the closing circular, it will say from where this report got generated. Then you go to the business objects report. The business object report will give a list of this. Anything which you want an underlying value, which they are unable to give you, you can always say, I will not sign this. You can say, this information is not been provided. So I want you to correct. If you want me to sign, you remove this value and I'll sign. I'll say, I'll no interest subvention. Then they will be at risk because that much money, they don't even know whom to claim. That will be like their cost. So they cannot expect you to get a nil certificate. So, and once the certificate is issued, like it is like logged. Then they will always come back, give you. And most of you are very much familiar with this. So as long as you are in the bank, you are like king. Every 5 minutes, you'll get someone will come and ask tea, coffee. You'll get coconut water. You will get some cashew, badam onto your table, everything. After the audit is done, you'll meet in the vegetable market. You'll be thinking, did I see him somewhere? Looks like some familiar face. And you go to the bank next time, he'll say, hi, hello, sir, I'm little busy. You can wait. I'll come back after half an hour. So that your treatment is as good as you are a guest who has come for a loan. Okay. So better be careful. As long as you are king, where you are getting the royal treatment, make sure your work is also done. And you will be obliged with any question and any answer till you are there. After that, don't expect a single cooperation. So whatever the data that you have to get it through email, please get it by that time.
I'm bringing to the bank, daily coming, then only we will happen.
Okay. So sir is saying attendance certificate, please get it, because sometimes for the bill passing section, they'll ask. Okay, so some banks have this policy. Okay, so just quickly to tell you Basel journey. This Basel actually has started in 99, where most of the US, some of the banks were actually going bad because of the risks. So the RBI has come with Basel 1, then moved to Basel 2, and we are in the journey of Basel 3. So 99 to till 2009, so it was in Basel 1, 2009, they have implemented the Basel 2. Basically, it is capital adequacy ratio. Like they're saying, initially they said 8% of your asset should be backed by your capital, risk weighted asset. So, like not every 100 rupees balance sheet total give 8 rupees capital, but risk weighted asset. Over the time, they have moved from Basel 1 to Basel 2, where they have changed the expectation of the risks. The weightage of the risks were being improved, and since this is more theory, I'll just skip anyhow. This presentation is there. So you are expected to ensure that this Basel is maintained. So the capital adequacy statement is what I am expecting you to ensure that is being collected. Now moving to the core session of mine, which is use of Excel in the bank branch audit.
This training is required to do it by the so that usually is required in the finance, they will have to refine the report in the hour.
Okay, sir's question is the audit trail is expected to be reported that every software is having it. Is it required for the bank? Answer is yes. Is it required for the bank branch audit? The answer I think is no, because they again the statutory auditor would be defining. This is to be signed by the bank central statutory auditor and not the branch auditor. Okay, now
That should be part of the report, whether accounts are being maintained in the audit trail or.
central statutory audit, not the branch audit. By the way, every banking software has an auditor. You do not have a feature. It's like if assuming any of your customer who comes saying that I want to introduce internal control in my organization, you just need to look at the internal control policy of the bank branch and adopt. It's like that's the best banking, best internal control you can think of is you can learn it from the bank. Sir, you are saying something. Correct. That's what I'm saying. It's a central auditor who has to look after.
Regarding audit trail, whether being branch auditor, we need to take any care or whether we need to verify whether it is being done or not. What is to be done and as part of our bank branch audit.
Okay. Now, there is a standard statement. People say that get the whatever you don't know, get the declaration from the branch manager. Branch manager will not give you any, no letter of engagement, no management, no MRL will be signed, nothing will be signed. He will say, I will not, I have been given instruction. I will not sign anything. I will not give anything. So now the inside of this, sir is asking question, how do I check there is an audit trail?
How even classification of business, they are saying everything is being done by software itself. Just I will give you credit. Even then we are checking like that. Even though CBS, G.Venu audit trail is being implemented on the wholesale level, but whether we need to verify, check or report.
Yeah.
Our responsibility.
No, our responsibility is there. If you look at your SA 700 which you are issuing to the bank, so one of the point you are saying that the computer which is implemented is having full internal controls. You are certifying that, and you are also certifying that I have tested it and I am also okay with the software that has been deployed. Now, question is, how do I check that the audit log exists?
And reporting responsibility.
We don't have reporting responsibility separately, but as a part of SA 700, it is there. In your audit report, there is one point is there.
Yes, exactly.
It is there. Okay. Now, you don't need to additionally report. It is there. You only sign it. So how do I check? There is something called day end of the day reports. So SOD and EOD is something which very common in the bank. And the moment the day end happens, there is a folder that gets generated, some 40 to 50 files which get stored into that report. All right. Your job is to open those, pick any dates, open some of the text files and see what it is there, because that will keep on showing how many transactions have been overwritten, how many transactions have been corrected after it is done, how many transactions, it is all exception reports, like how many transactions have closing balance and subsidiary and primary books did not match, and I continued with my EOD. So it will give all those things. So you will have the audit log trail related information will be there in it. So that will be your audit working paper. Wherever possible, take one screenshot. Take a screenshot and put it as working paper. When I say screenshot, I just got reminded. Let me just open one Excel file. Okay. Except that Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, the left side CAQ. Can anyone read which is there on the right side? So standing here, I am also unable to read. That is why I said, come to the front line. Yes, sir.
I'm not permitted to take my laptop and use it.
Okay, very good question. Am I? No. Am I permitted? No. A good question. I'll answer that. I am not permitted to use the laptop. You are permitted to use the laptop. There's no bar. You cannot connect to the branch system. You cannot put a pen drive and take the files. Nothing is possible. The only medium, you send an email, the file gets loaded onto that. You work something, send an email, file gets, and the email will work provided the attachment do not have a depositor name or account number or the FD receipt number. Those, the customer sensitive information doesn't exist in the document. Whether you zip it, whatever you do, it doesn't go through. All right. Neither the Excel, anything will not go. You may think that, okay, fine, instead of XLS, I will change it to XLT and make it as some format and I'll send it. The moment it thinks that, okay, it is an unknown format, it will stop. That mail itself will not go. When? Last year? Lucky. So, you analyze. No, you get, no, you can take a loan statement. You cannot get a file with the list of loan account numbers and amount, name and amount, not permitted. Deposit list, not permitted. It becomes the sensitive information. You are analyzing an account that is one particular.
I want to analyze it on a laptop. I need to have his account number.
Loan statement can be taken. Loan list cannot be taken. A statement of one borrower permitted. It doesn't become like a, from the policy, it doesn't go through as that sensitive thing. Again, it will also check the permission it is going to that audit email ID, only then it will work.
Loan statement also contains loan account.
Correct. So it checks if it is an audit email ID only, then it will go. If it is not an audit email ID, then it will not go.
Each account wise you have to take it and again recompile.
No, you can take it each account wise. Answer is you cannot take. Straight. You will not get the all depositor statement or all borrower statement. You will not get it. You cannot get it.
Something like trying your hands and asking you.
Okay. So institute has prepared something, a document which I would request everyone to use it. I'll anyhow share this document. Basically, it starts with attendance, who has gone where, what, when. If you are issuing an MOC, the summary of MOC, if what are the matters that you want to report to central statutory auditors and saying that I don't know, I have not seen this. So whatever the points which you have not seen, so most likely these are done at the center by the central statutory auditors. You will be saying that, okay, these I have not done. So if you want to put it into your audit report, you can put it. Then your audit report, copy of your audit report. Here is the important one, list of templates. So the ICA has given so master checklist. You can think this as a master checklist. Balance sheet as on 31st March. You have verified? Yes. If you have any comments, you write the comment. So it has given this, you can start this as your kind of the checklist, which has totally 46 items. It has 46 items. Just keep this file, print this file, and 44 items are there. Print this and keep it. Kind of whatever the things that you should do in a bank branch, it is like done, taken care. One of the point is LFR. That's all. For LFR, there is only one line like that. So what are the maximum line things that you need to do is covered in this 40 line items. Now, as the course of doing it against each, the list of SS, I think yesterday Anand sir has explained about SS. So they have given what are all the applicable SS, and they have linked to the ICI repository of standards on audit documentation. So that would be going there. Then here is the dashboard. This you can keep it. Let me zoom it and show so that person is back. So cash, they have given 20 observations. So when you go to a cash, like if you see there are 19 yet to be started, 0 not applicable, work in progress, query raised, there are different things. Let's is the balance as per cash book and day book reconciled? It is asking. So let me put the status. Just so yes, it is completed and no adverse comment. Check whether segregation of duties, like you are asking whether two keys exist or not. You will say yes. Okay, you have raised a query asking to see the book. Cash receipt vouchers have been signed by the officer in cash department. You can give this to one guy saying that, okay, cash is your duty. I want you to ask these questions and do it. Okay, I am checking the cash department. High value have been verified by someone. Yes, okay, it has been verified and no adverse comments. Excess cash balance is there? Yes, excess cash balance is there, and always it is there. It's like you will keep writing each and every point.
Most of the days.
Exits.
Exits, but the exceeding level, the insurance portion. But not available. The insurance. Bank level.
Ah,
Not a branch level.
this is your LFIR point. So never write yes, no, nil, not applicable in your LFIR. The moment has it exceeded the limit, you will say yes. Yes is also not wrong answer.
Bank has exceeded the retention of the.
Yes, and on our instances, day one so much balance, day two so much balance, put that in LFIR. No annexure in the LFIR, they will give you a box, there you will be able to. No, put some instance. You pick the 5 days and you put it there for them for review. Example. And then the next question, insurance. They have given a certificate. I don't know whether it is covering this branch or not. The quantum it is, we don't know. Give that no, yes, no, nil, not applicable is not an answer. I really want you to get, if someone is writing yes, no, nil, like is insurance available? Yes is not an answer. The quantum amount, the certificate that you have seen, it should be a self-explanatory, because from the peer reviewer perspective, what document you have, after you sign all the reports, you will be able to download that, send an email, no pen drive to copy, because signed is also in their system. Now you have that file with you. 5 years later, a peer reviewer is coming and asking to you, sir, you said yes, no. Okay, how did you say yes? Sir, I saw some certificate there. Okay, where is that certificate? Copy we don't have. In that bank, in that branch. But at least you give some references in that document, which will at least give an indication that, okay, you have verified something, and the peer reviewer should be happy saying that, okay, fine, I trust you. So how much ever we are good friends, document should say, I trust you. That I trust you will come the comment that you have written. So if you have seen some things I have written here, and let's say this is not applicable, and I'm just now randomly going and putting some numbers. Now the checklist, you go back to your checklist. In your dashboard, you will now see out of 20 checkpoints, 11 are yet to be started. 1 is not applicable. 2 are work in progress. For 2, I have raised a query. 3, there are adverse, this completed and do not have an adverse comment, but 1, it is completed having an adverse comment. When did I prepare this and who has reviewed it? This is your dashboard. This can be in your laptop, or this can be into the branch system. But this is something which will say that, okay, you have completed. Now, look at how many items are here in the dashboard, including IFCOR. 46 is for you to understand that I have to verify cash, I have to do this. This is my dashboard. Okay. So the number of points that you need to check is 487 questions. Now, you have attended this session. You have done the audits earlier. Articles have joined this year, last year, who they don't even know how to go to the bank and fill a pay-in slip or deposit slip. They haven't seen in their life. They only know Phone Pay, Google Pay. All right. So, like when they go to the chest room, there are 10 lakh rupees. Yeah, let's say 10 lakhs. You ask them to verify whether 10 lakhs is there, they'll start verifying, they'll start counting those 10 lakhs. But otherwise, we know, okay, counting whether it is 10 lakhs or 10 crores is counting is just is like matter of maybe 15 to half an hour. Because the rest of them they do. We know how to. We just put some portion of cash in an envelope, seal it, put it to him. You tally everything, balance. I total this. Everything will automatically get total. There are multiple ways that you ensure that this is taken care. So training the person who is going there is more important. When I say training, three things. Point number one, giving a checklist, what he has to do. Point number two, giving some reading materials to for them to use a Basel. Sitting in the branch, he's seeing you are saying Basel. It's like బేసల్ అంటే నాకు ఏం చెప్పాలనుకుంటున్నాడు, తెలుగులో చెప్తున్నాడు, ఏ భాషలో చెప్తున్నాడు, యూ విల్ బి థింక్ హీ కాంట్ ఈవెన్ షౌట్ యూ, హీ కాంట్ టెల్ యూ ఎనీథింగ్, సో ఈ జస్ట్ సీయింగ్ ఇట్. So give him some reading material. That is the second thing. Third, most important, very important, anything you are telling, tell them in binary. When I say binaries, go there, open this file, open this sheet, check this. Check this means see this matching with this. If it is matching, give me this answer. If it is not matching, give me this answer. Your instructions have to be very clear. What do you are expecting them to do? You may say, if I do all these things, the entire audit time will be over. That's okay. Audit can be actually done in 2 days. If they are all trained, they know where to lay hands, what they have to touch and see, building. I'm sure yesterday Sharon would have shown you how to pick samples from various data sets. How do I pick samples? If you know the right sample to be picked, that's all. That is the only thing you have to verify, right? Even LFAR2, which is the advances, large advances, you give it to him, you fill the because document is the first day you have to go is, are there any large advances? Okay, if it is a large advances are there, LFAR2, please ask someone to fill it. And LFAR2 is generally filled into a Word document, in a Word format. They prepare it and they attach it into the list of the accounts. They just get digitally sign that and attach to the list, say for a large banking. Give them. Once that prepared and comes back, then you know what needs to be done, right? So this is one checklist which is there. Have everyone glance through those questions. Out of 36 items, you can allocate you from your audit working side, you can say that list of loan sanction during the year will be checked by this. Other than advances will be checked by this. Deposits will be checked by this person. You allocate the work and you know what they have to check, what is the question in LFAR, what they have to write, yes, no, not applicable, okay, but comma, why yes, why no, why not applicable. That is more important. So your only question is asking them how they will do is you will be asking. So give this, take this Excel handy. I would request you to definitely go through this Excel, okay?
If people OneDrive simultaneously, they can work on the same sheet.
Yeah, either you do OneDrive or you put it into Google Sheet.
Google Sheet.
Everyone can work simultaneously. The file can be worked on Google Sheet, file can be worked on OneDrive, depends on it. All can work simultaneously.
Same file.
Same file you will open parallelly and work simultaneously. This is also a very important thing, that okay, you don't need to wait for one person. So either open a Google Sheet. Today sheets are, people also got used with the Google Sheets. The same file automatically gets converted into Google Sheet and it will work. If you have a Microsoft OneDrive license, you can just put it into OneDrive and you can share it parallelly, both can work. No. Yes, sir. CCTP file is not coming, meaning that's a primary thing. Okay. So sir, very good question. Loan balancing file is not coming to my laptop for analyzing. How do I analyze? That is why they have given you a system.
No, in their computer Excel will outdated.
They are using outdated Microsoft 97, 2003, 2013 version they are using. That is the environment in which you are living. So you need to know, how do I use the formulae Excel formulae to do it. Earlier, we need one skill which was definitely required in bank audit was converting those text files into an Excel. That was a necessary, essential skill. Let's say even CCDP file which sir is saying that that has all the loan statements, closing balance, at least some 24 different columns. Now, today, all banks have converters. You need to ask, how do I convert any text file? They have defined, they have created inbuilt softwares in this EBS itself, which will convert it into the best possible file.
We are getting it.
That's how this comes.
Bank manager has the Excel file. Yeah. So you have to find a way to use the bank system only. You cannot get that file to your laptop. If I'm saying that somehow convince and get, that is not the truth. The reality is you will have to work inside the system of the bank only. It is lucky if you could copy. There's a difference. Like if I go and you need to do social engineering, you need to say hi, hello, find out, get it, take it. That's a different. It's not art of everyone. You need to find though they say pen drives are blocked, but there is a way you can get your pen drive copied, data copied. All that is possible. Okay, I'm not talking about hacking, but yeah, the exceptions. Not everyone will be having that skill, so I don't even want to discuss that. You have to live with the data that exists. So I will come one by one. I want everyone to prepare firstly financials in a simple T format. Like there is a balance sheet as on 31st March to be prepared. So the file which is given to you will look something like this. It has the balance sheet schedule, the nomenclature, what is their internal code. There are three different types of code. For the purpose of MOC, there is a different code. For the purpose of balance sheet, there is a different code. For the purpose of their returns which submit to RBI, there is a different code. Okay. So you need to know which code which they are talking to. And you will have the data coming into Excel. So earlier I used to tell that, okay, you need to, if I have to do it in the Excel, so there is a date when you just copy paste to Excel, everything will come all into one single column. This is all data is in one single column. Now this you need to know how to split the data. So Alt DE will allow you to split the data. And when you say like next, you can automatically the small line that you will be able to see. Let me first zoom it. You can see the lines coming on my corner. Those lines are basically columns. So you should be able to split that into columns. So each line you want a line, you just need to click once, it where one more column will come. You don't want you just put double click, the line would go off. All right. And do that. And you can automatically split the data into columns. So from the balance sheet, the source, I have split it into, I didn't do any formatting, I've just split into columns. So YSA code, the balance sheet, nomenclature, everything has been split into different columns. Once this is done, do little bit of formatting. So hide the unwanted data, group it, ungroup it, whatever is the information required, not required, put it into kind of a format which you will be able to understand. For example, in the current case, let me just quick. Like I have prepared liabilities, assets, loans, deposits. Basically, a balance sheet has been prepared. Very much essential that you prepare this. Why? You will understand your branch first. You will know what does the branch contain. In the printout, earlier there used to be printouts, now no printouts. Now they will give you a PDF file. The PDF file will look like this, which will run into some 27 sheets. You should know how to convert it into an Excel. After converting it into an Excel, hide the unwanted data, put the wanted data, make sure you have a tallied balance sheet with you. And when I say tallied balance sheet, the one which you understand in a simple way, you will be able to see what is my total loans. Like in this case, the loans are 77 crores, 85 lakhs. Assets some 16 crores. There is an inter-office adjustment 21 crores. So you have everything like that, list everything which is there, and see finally is my total matching. Control total matching is more important, including contingent assets, contingent liability, everything you bring it, right? So that is more important. That would be your start point. On the day one of the branch audit, like assuming there are 3 people who are going to the branch, one person can straight away start with reading previous audit reports, previous start audit report, concurrent audit report, all the reports that are exist. Person 2 can straight away start preparing from the data that exists an information in an Excel which I can understand. Like you as a auditor, you want to take a decision. You are the one who is finally signing. Make sure there is a team member in yours who can prepare a balance sheet and give you. This can be printed. This simple one can be printed. For us, when it is printed and it is there in front of me, when I see it in the glance, my internal processor is very strong enough to tell where to lay hand, what to ask, what not to ask. That's simple. That's we can do much better than an AI or ChatGPT or Bard. We can do much better. But who will process that information and give is very important. So the knowledge that you need to have for this is splitting data into columns, post splitting, formatting and simplifying, seeing it in an easy way. Converting text to Excel, earlier was a skill required. Now all the banks have the tools. You ask them, sir, I need it in an Excel, they will give. What you will not get is what you don't ask. If you ask, I need it in Excel, they'll give you. Today, those tools are there. We don't think it is there or not, so we don't ask. Anything you don't know, please ask. Like you ask, how do I check? You ask, they will find a way and tell you that this is how you have to check. We think that, okay, we are king. How can I say I don't know? and we hesitate saying that I don't know. He's asking you to sign interest subvention. He'll say, okay, fine, I'll sign. How do I know this value is correct? He will say this. Can you get, it's like a job of the auditor is only ask the questions. So can you get this? Can you get this? You don't need to sit and start preparing all those reports. We are not a qualified data entry operators to prepare all those things. Our job is only ask questions. Over the period, we have start audit means we only have to take the trial balance. We only have to correct closing adjustment entries. We only have to prepare that some form got set into it. Even in the bank, your job is only to ask, I will sign, but tell me how this is correct. Their job is to explain you how this is correct. Your job is only to ask questions. For that, you need to understand what the balance sheet is, what is the size of the balance sheet. Now you ask them, give me balance sheet, they'll give you the 27-page list. Something simplifying to that is your job. All right. So first and foremost, at the start of it, so I want you to yeah. So I want to prepare the balance sheet and also prepare P&L account. So always prepare a T-shaped P&L account. Easy to remember, easy to understand. Now, isn't it simple? Okay, I have interest income some 2 crore 88, interest expenditure 10 crores, other income 41 lakhs, other expenditure 84 lakhs, loss 7 crore 89. Simple, no? Now you know what next to be done. But start from the macro approach. Get the macro view, get into the detail. Looking at this, what do you say? What will you tell about this branch? This is all deposit mobilizing branch. It mobilizes the deposits, gives the funds to head office. And they are not doing any cross billing of the funds lying with the head office. They are not doing the billing. Just because you are seeing this as a loss, this doesn't mean that this is a loss making branch.
HO, I guess.
It's why interest level.
Factor.
So HO in their internal BO, they will factor the cost of the funds, their cost of the funds they will factor, and then they will analyze whether this branch is making profits or losses. So your job is to now see so much is interest expenditure, divide it by your average deposits. Don't take, never take 31st March balance. So take the 12 months average. You will know weighted average interest expenditure. You will know weighted average interest income. That will give you at least, okay, is it going in a right direction or wrong direction? If some grouping is wrong,
Compared with the previous year.
get the groupings. Get the groupings of each and every item. And when you get the groupings, you can now get into detail. You have to do only for once, one bank, one branch, that grouping. And once you have done it, you understood the year balance sheet. Now you can see my income, April, May, June, July. This is all coming from the trial balance. Like assuming instead of May, I will enter this as instead of 1st May, I will make it as June. So up to June, data it has been captured, right? So it is all directly coming from my trial balance. So what you did, you converted the trial balance into text to Excel. Then you did grouping. Now you have asked the branch to give 30th April, 31st May, 30th June, 31st July, ask them the trial balances. You just need to load one below the other, one below the other, one below the other. Run a simple pivot table or whatever the Excel formula, get the data into this format. Now, the moment the data is in this format, you can easily make your analysis. Like here, my direct income, 30 lakhs April, 29 lakhs, 27 lakhs, 27 lakhs. More or less, your trend is looking okay. Suddenly, it now jumped into Jan, Feb, March. It went really high. You can insert one simple spark line. There is something called insert the line, and can you see automatically the graph is showing on a higher side in the month of last quarter. So you can actually go and ask the manager, like, why is it going? It went down and suddenly the graph is going up. Various incomes. Whether it is incomes, expenditures, everything like depreciation. In the month of March, it is like only it's a none of the months the depreciation is there. It is not provided. So you can see the graphs against each expenditure, how the pattern is, how it is moving. Whether 12 months is there or not, whether the grouping is correct or not, is all you can see. You should also have an ability to create a simple trend. Here, like rent has been selected, printing and stationery. This is my graph for printing and stationery. With the data table, let me just hide some above. Like with the data table, you are getting the various items, interest income. You can see my interest income graph is moving. So one by one, you each item you analyze. In the month of November, suddenly my direct income went to 7,80,000, which otherwise was there only 1 lakh, 1 lakh, 2 lakhs. You should get into these questions and ask, okay, what is there in that month? Yeah, sir is rightly saying I would have done a housing loan mela or gold loan renewals. So we are doing the audit of it. So if I don't even know, it's like having this will give you the confidence of the balance sheet which you are signing. You have seen every item of the balance sheet, every item of the P&L in a graphical format. Is my loans consistent? Expenditure is in one format. My percentage is in one format or not. You have to prepare this. No one is going to prepare this and give you. You have to prepare this. You may say, how much time I have to prepare this? Honestly, it will take 1 hour to prepare this. It would only take 1 hour to prepare this, provided you know how to use that formula. First branch may take time. Or in your employees or friend circle, you ask someone that, okay, look, I want my P&L in a columnar format. I'll give you trial balance. Trial balance can be taken into Excel. Trial balance can be emailed. It will come to your local laptop. You can always, I would recommend, use Google Drive or Microsoft Teams shared. Entire, like my audit, bank audit, the files would be in Google Drive. My employee who is sitting in the office, who doesn't even turn up to the branch, he sits there and prepares. He prepares this and gives me so that, okay, I can analyze and I can, like, he can do the analysis parallelly. He doesn't need to come to the branch. It's like it's waste of my thing, someone sitting there and preparing this, which otherwise he can sit it in the office also and do it. So having someone who can give you month-wise P&L, month-wise balance sheet position, change analysis, quickly check which is the item changing, have that information. So what are the formula that you should be knowing? So these are formula that you need to know. Importing of data from CSV files to Excel. Once it is imported, splitting the data text to the columns, applying conditional formats to quickly know what is min, max, highlighting, change, duplicates, all those things in the conditional formatting. Most of the time, date is into one single line, 220324. Your ability to split into DD, YY is required. Applying pivot tables, applying if formula, concatenation, preparing graphs, SUMIF, VLOOKUP, flash fill. These formulas are essential. It's like there is no negotiation on this. Can I ignore some of this? I don't know. Can I continue and do it? I will say no. These are basic. Whomsoever is doing is like this. This is like must. If you don't have this, then you will extrapolatingly growing the time. If you know this, you will do it in 1 hour. If you don't know, you will do it in 1 day. Sir is saying 4 days. So this is like a non-negotiable. You should, when I say you, I'm not expecting you to learn. Your team should be there. If you don't have team, you have no option, you should learn. Someone in the team should be able to do this. Is that clear? Any doubt in this? Okay. By the way, anyone needs any explanation on any of this? So that I'll take this. Date formatting, okay. Concatenation, okay. Flash fill, okay.
Overall, asking randomly, but all.
మూడే. Okay, let me take one data and I'll do it live. Yeah, actually someone was asking about CCOD balance file. This is how the CCOD balance file would look like. Let me wrap the. Now can you see the account number, account type, all the information? It is running into so long. So this has all customer information. This is residing in the branch server, not in your Excel. So you should know how to convert this into an Excel. Let me just copy it. Those are the files. నా పర్లేదు వాళ్ళు కొంతమంది నిద్రపోతున్నారు లేపుదామంటే బ్రేక్ ఇస్తాము.
Your choice, you ask, sir.
సార్ వాళ్ళు 4:15 కి టీ బ్రేక్ ఇచ్చేసి అట్లా ఇంటికి పంపియండి అన్నారు స్టార్టింగ్ లో.
అది your choice. Choice of the
Audience.
audience.
Sir, if tea is ready, we'll break for the tea and we'll assemble back 3:15.
Sir, MR గారు కావాలి.
సార్ మీరు చెక్ చేసి చెప్పండి సార్ నాకు.
MR గారికి feedback అంటే వేరే బయట ఉంది కదా.
Sir, I have copied this data into a file. So data split to here I have given the formula in the how do I import the data, take the data into the file. You have to clean up the remove the unwanted columns. So you have to go file, open text to columns. So then you have to split. Most of the time there are two things called delimited. You can see it uses the word delimited or fixed width. Whenever you know there are any separators in the data. Why it not showing? 100% is also not good. Yeah. So whenever you know that there you can see this pipe symbol in between, you know you have something like this, you can use the format called delimiter. So I can set as delimiter, and in the delimiter, what is the delimiter? I will say in my others as this pipe symbol. The moment I put the pipe symbol, you can see below. Yeah, you can see automatically the lines have come. Can you see the lines have come? So it has automatically split the data into columns. I'm just saying finish. So data has been split and it has come into the columns. Always create a backup. We never know when you will make mistakes. So I'm just this sheet. I'm making a duplicate of it and save the file with the appropriate names. There is a bad practice. People use sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3 advance 1, advance 2, book 1, book 2, things like that. So I'll say advances, the so-and-so branch name, whatever I will say. And I'm creating a copy of it. I'll say create a copy. And now I will change the sheet name as raw data. And the original file is the sheet which I'm working. I will say my advances March 24. So can you see that down I have changed the sheet name to like raw data and advances. So always have the sheet names nomenclated such a way that tomorrow when you are seeing it, you will understand this. This is the thing. Never use book 1, book 2, sheet 1, sheet 2 is not a right methodology. All right. Now, first and foremost is you have to do cleaning up of the data. There's a huge work that would involve for cleaning up the data. You need to know how to use filters. So this data, where you look at, see whether it is making sense or not. Just take one by one each cells, see whether these numbers or values which you are seeing, are they making sense or not. Just take a look at that. Once that is making sense, then you need to clear the data which is unwanted junk that exists at various places. I will choose customer name as the field, and I am going to the end. Always go to the end. I am picking the blanks. You can see all these are something which is not required. By the way, you will end up deleting some unwanted data. So this comes only by way of practice and the thing. Get your hands dirt with the regular files. Take some sample files and start working on it. Now we will see various formulas which I have said one by one to this data. Pivot tables is something simple. There's absolutely nothing to know much. In the only condition in the pivot table is your data should be having headers proper. Alt DP is the function. I say enter the pivot table and I am saying okay. It will insert the data into a new sheet. So you can go by account type and your account balance. From the count, change the value to sum. So at a glance of it, if you see, there are so many product categories, but in one go, you are able to say that, okay, this branch has more stock crash credit and MSME so much, OD clean so much. So you will be able to get the number of accounts and the balance just in like one go, you got the information. The advantage of pivot table is it will consolidate and give you information in a quick view. Now someone was asking concatenate function, how do I concatenate and see? Let us say for a moment, while making an error, let's say this customer name. So this customer name, you have like this. So there is it, this is in one column, and you have other data in another column. So when the two datas are in two different columns, the easiest thing to do is concatenate. Formula is concatenate and text 1 comma text 2. Done. So it will automatically merge. You, whichever you want to do, you can do it. And someone was asking what is flash fill. So now this is a AI of the Microsoft. So if I don't do concatenate, let's say I am actually writing Mr. Santosh LM. I only written Mr. Santosh LM. If you see this, I have not used any formula. I've just written Mr. Santosh LM. Now here Excel has this something called flash fill. Come here and press Control E. Press Control E. Automatically it will start filling. It says it is unable to fill. Ideally it should. Yeah, so flash fill is basically asking Excel to think. The way I am doing, you also do and give it. So otherwise, this is another formula is this and this. This is another way you do it. So go all the way down and select your data and just press Control D. You will paste it till down. That's another way of doing it. So we have looked at what is pivot tables and what is concatenation. Graphs also I've seen, but I'll show you some advanced version of the graphs. What we'll do, we'll quickly take a tea break and come back, and then we will see the other formula which we need to do. Is equal to unique conversion. Unique list of questions. Unique and Excel file లో చేశాను యాక్చువల్గా. తర్వాత నేను VLOOKUP కన్నా you go by VLOOKUP pivot from the VLOOKUP దానికన్నా యూనిక్ పెట్టుకుంటే మీకు మొత్తం వచ్చేస్తుంది. ఆ పీరియడ్ లో వాల్యూ ఉంటుంది, వాల్యూ లేకపోతే జీరో.
one month, 2 months. After assessment, cancel rate.
Sir, start చేద్దామా?
Yes.
Okay. So after seeing the pivot tables, I'll also explain you if formula and concatenation we have seen. Graphs also and sum if also we'll see. Tea break mundu, someone was asking how did I get the month wise trial balance ఎలా వచ్చింది అనేసి. This is something you should be able to one time you first time ఏదైనా కష్టం ఉంటుంది సార్. And you always feel that is it worth spending so much time? The answer is yes, it is worth spending so much time because the first time it will take time. I want you to get, if I am doing it in 1 hour, it may take 1 day for you for the first time. After that, you will also do in 1 hour or 10 minutes. Now, why we at all need to do, I am signing as on 31st March, why at all we need to do this, Anadi? For you to get a confidence, there is no window dressing. If you have to answer, you have to see my deposits and advances position 12 months, how is it moving? The moment you see that it is consistent, then you automatically know that there is no window dressing. And maybe as on 31st March, it went up by 2 crores. That's okay. He has put an effort to push someone for 2 crores. So 100 has become 102, no issue. But it was there, my total deposits itself was like 5 crore, 5 crore, 5 crore, 5 crore. But suddenly in March, it became 100 crore or 1 or 2 crore is an issue. That how will I know? It's like I need to plot it. So when you download the trial balance from the so this is the trial balance which I have downloaded for the full year. But when you, this is as on 31st March. So they will give you a similar thing as on 29th February, as on 31st Jan, 31st December. Your system will give you. All right. All that I have done is I have downloaded that and I have copied it month over month. So all that I have done, if you see, there is month over month. I have just added, which is the month this data is, I have just added. So February I have copied, I have just written February. This is something which I have added. Otherwise, I have just did a copy paste of all the data as such. Now, there is something called, I created something called grouping. I created something called grouping. So sometimes if there are white spaces, like you can see the end column is here. You can see something is coming here. So some months it comes, sometimes depends on system to system. I just trimmed it, applied a formula called trim. So it got trimmed. System will give you a mapping. In the bank itself, you will have a mapping. So saving account is mapped to deposits, which is mapped to liabilities. So we have created a one-time mapping of all this. Now some may ask that, okay, how do I know in 1 month, let's say term deposit others is not there. in another month it is there. There could be any ledgers that will come up. If I go to my month-wise TB, which is there, even though it is running into 4026 lines, but are there my 4026? Answer is no. If I see is equal to unique, there is a formula. You can, I apply this, and I only have actually 94 lines. The whole of trial balance is running into 94 lines. That's all. So for these 94 lines, I need to know the grouping. What is their parent? Like in Tally, how do we say under sundry debtors, under current assets, under assets? Like that grouping is one-time mapping that you should be able to do it. And that is there. So I have done that grouping here. So if it is special term deposits, I said it is in deposits and it is under liabilities, and liabilities is under balance sheet. That's all I have done. So I went back to my trial balance, and after like you can see one at the data, whatever it is, you always have to insert one blank line. We will call this generally as helper columns, because I take help of these columns to make analysis. And whenever you are doing a pivot tables cannot have any blank column headers. So I've just inserted something column and put it as a, and after this, whatever it is, I have written by way of a formula. So if you see this, I have written this formula. I said we look up this item in the TB group and give me it in column 2. And like if you see, for groups, I have gone column 3. For balance sheet, I have gone into column 4. So we need to know what is a VLOOKUP formula. And generally, this would have been done again by one of my staff, and this is not reviewed. If I am the one who is reviewing, I will say, I don't know what is this, like T group, TB group B3 to E. You shouldn't keep leaving the thing. So instead of TB group, I will say XYZ. Okay. If the sheet name is like this, look at this, it will say D4 of XYZ, B3 to, so it will keep coming. So in Excel also, you have something called like data tables. So you should always go, they mark the data into data tables. Let's do that here. I am just saying the whole of this data I have selected. On the right side of here, I am saying as like TB map to GL. So I can now say this in my TB, instead of saying this as deposits, I will now say, instead of this XYZ, I will only select this and I will say TB map GL, which we have just created. It has shown up. Oh, sorry, it is here. So I'm just saying. Now look at the formula here. So I'm saying, look up the D4 into the mapping of GL data set and give me second column. So this is more intuitive. So tomorrow someone is reviewing, when you are also reviewing the formula, always have a meaningful headers, meaningful sheet names. It is always easy to review. So by this way, what I got is, where does this lie? Where this is under deposits. Now I can, even this I can say mapping of GL. So instead of going into that XYZ B3 to E397, which we don't know what we are trying to look up, you should always create entire data as one data range and do the lookup of the data in it. It's easy for review. Once this is done, you can apply a simple pivot table. And like my balance sheet, month over month, like you can see there is something coming. These are pivot tables. You can just apply a pivot table and see whether you are okay with it or not. Let me just zoom it again for the benefit of others. I'll collapse everything. Yeah. So can you see there's the liabilities, assets, and my liabilities and assets are not matching. Any idea why? Because I have taken only balance sheet. P&L profit or loss is not adjusted. That is why the difference would be there in the P&L. There's something you have to you have to always do the control totals and check up whether the data which you are seeing is correct or not. Okay. So now let's say you are analyzing your assets. So you will start seeing your advances. Okay, my advances here is 356, 7 crores, 362, 373. Like you are now getting a view of what is the size of the balance sheet that you are seeing. So are you comfortable with this number or not? Is it extraordinary? Like now you can see 450 crores, 448. So more or less this every month I am having this advance and deposits. I don't feel there is a window dressing. So instead of you writing a yes or a no in your LFAR, one straight you can say that I have analyzed the closing balance of advance and deposits on the month ends of all the months, and the trend seems to be normal. Now that indicates a peer reviewer who is reading it, he knows that you have reviewed it. So like his confidence on you, that who has done the audit, like central statutory auditor confidence on you will also go, okay, he has seen this every month balance and he finds that everything is normal, and hence he is making that comment, right? So knowing how to use the pivot tables is important. Insert a spark lines, or for this data. Now I'll give you the formula for VLOOKUP and the thing. Let's say, I think I have already done it in the P&L. If you see, the team has done, what is the change? What is my monthly average? So my monthly total is there, my monthly average is there. And if my total is 100, if you see, this will always be your, the sum is 100. What is my change? Previous year, previous month to current month, did it increase? Did it come down? How much of it each month constitute to the total? You can do your understanding, your analysis of all the data. And you can build a simple graph which will give you an understanding of how these numbers are showing up. For example, I will keep this graph, okay? Yes, sir.
February 20,
Huh.
170 percentage complete.
Percentage. Let's look at that. So I'm just inserting. You can just go to recommended charts, and I said a chart here. So I am taking in a plain thing. So I'll say this as chart, renaming it. I'll say this as income. Now, here is where I'll use simple VLOOKUP formula is equal to VLOOKUP this value in my P&L. You need to know how to make the formulas from static to dynamic. I'm just showing it for the ease of it. So these are my columns. So now I need to know this is my column number. And whenever you are using VLOOKUP, I will always tell to use the as a data set so that you don't go wrong. So I'm just freezing the thing. Now you can see my value month on month. Yeah. Now to the data also, I can put the data table if I want. My chart, this is my incomes. All right, so we try to simplify. Now you can automatically see the graph of anything. You want salaries as salaries allowances thing. You can just say why I want to see the salaries allowances. It is automatically giving you your salaries, monthly numbers, and graph. Like it took maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes for me to just prepare this graph. Now, any item, now you have a printed P&L with you, you want to analyze any item, you exactly type whatever is the name, my electricity, fuel. Like let's look at the rent also, another thing. I'll just put this. So you can see every month, okay, it is September is not there, October has come, so 2 months date number would have come there. But still it is substantially higher. It went way up the number. So you can ask this, why is it high in the September? Has there any revision? Have you capitalized anything which you have purchased, like generator or something which you have purchased? Have you capitalized it? These are questions that you can actually ask. Let's say my rent. I'm saying rent. In the month of March, you see rent has gone negative. So he has reversed something. September is like again marginally negative. April is 0. So look at it, our processor started thinking, maybe the provisions reversed. It could be anything. But if you look at assuming you look at the numbers like this, if you see the numbers in plane like this, will our processor think fast? Will be able to understand? Answer is no. Even to get these numbers, very difficult. If you open the branch ledger of this, no, that is, you feel which software, why don't they use some tally like software which is easy to understand? I don't know what is debit, I don't know what is credit. It will show by transfer, TRF, not even transfer. Some value is there. Where it has gone, I don't know. They'll say, don't worry, sir, here you double click, one more screen will open. Even there, some entries will come, which will very difficult for someone to actually understand. That's the honest reality. That's how they have designed. Not that they want to deceive the thing. That's how they have designed. But look at this. If someone in the office is able to collate the trial balances, put it into this way, and give you. So your job is only to see the graphs. Very easy, right? So you may ask, sir, instead of me doing copy paste, can it be done in one go? It's like, I want to see next, next, next. Can I see graphs like that? Answer is possible. In fact, during the tea break, I am saying anything you want in automation is possible. What is not possible is what you cannot think. If you can't even imagine, that is not possible. Like, let's say, imagine, sir, every time how much I can copy paste, can this be automated? I'll just show you. It won't take much time. Everything is simple. Everything is there in our. Let's say, these many names are there. All right. On the left side, I've just brought all the names. These many names are there. Now, I will only insert. Little handicapped with this mouse, but that's okay. So I'll say these are the items. Okay, now you see. For the ease of it, I'll just make this. Okay. Now look at this. No copy paste. You say interest income. You select the interest income, automatically interest related graph comes. Recovery is made from in return of accounts. So it is like now dynamic. You see whatever, like my telephone charges. You select telephone charges, it is automatically picking the data from telephone and fax and preparing the table. Now, again, it takes that 5 minutes, 10 minutes for you to do setup. But once you have set, everything is coming on like a real time. So all that we did is we brought all the line items and we did used one index and one VLOOKUP. That's all we have done. We didn't do anything else. But we need to have that formula. Once we see it, like I see the balance sheet item or any item, now sitting in your desk, your job, okay, I'll see one by one, I'll see, okay, here, okay, local printing and stationery, September and October is like 0. But suddenly in the month of January, it shooted up to 64,000. In my query list, I'll just write, okay, I want someone to my article to go and check this. It would take 1 hour for you to glance through entire balance sheet items, entire P&L items in this format. But then you know what is that you have to ask them to look at those worksheets. Right? This is not complicated, but knowing that this can be done, this needs to be done is very important. Yes, sir.
I have 12 sheets of data.
Huh.
I want all the data in one scope in one sheet.
Huh. So
Instead of month-wise in the same one, assuming that I have pasted in 12 different sheets, I want in 13 sheets or one.
no problem. Huh. So I have data in 12 sheets. So I need to copy it one below the other. One is copy paste. Is there any other way? Again, if you go to your data, get data from file, you say from Excel workbook. It will ask you to select Excel workbook. The moment you click the Excel workbook, it will show the sheets. You just need to select sheets and you hit that button called load. It will merge automatically and one below the other, it will load it. Only condition here is all the sheets should be identical format. It's like all the sheets should be in identical format. That's all. Whether it is having 1000 sheets, don't worry. You may say that, sir, they're not in one single sheet, different Excel files. No problem. Instead of from Excel workbook, you go down, you have something called from folder. You select the folder, you just select all the files which are there in the folder will get merged. Whatever is the file name, it will put the file name in the first column and it will merge into one particular sheet and give you. So again, all that I am saying is you need to ask. It is possible. You don't know. Maybe your neighbor don't know. Someone will be knowing. If we think that, okay, this data is there, how do I do? How do I do? Is like you will always be lost. But I want this to be automatically combined into, it could be in different files or in one file, multiple sheet. One button, it gets merged into all one sheet. It's like where data, get data from file or from folder. That's all. Right? Graph as image. Where do you want to save somewhere? Excel has something called macros. This is also another simple thing. Like you record a macro, select the graph, okay, open an MS Paint, save as whatever is the like local printing purchases. The file name can be this. You save it, press that button. Every time when you select the graph, in that folder, one graph gets created. You don't need to every time go copy paste it. No, you select that graph gets created with the name what you have given. So one other thing which I want to drive in your thinking is anything is possible. We need to make that wish list. Right? then your audits will become more intelligent. We need to use it, like, please think this session not just for the bank audit, any sessions. Why critical for bank audit? 3 days, 5 days we have to complete, and we are entering into an unknown territory. My client every year I know, even he goes to the international travel, I know what happened this year, how, what income will go, I know everything. But in the branch, I really don't know many things. We don't analyze receipts and payments. That there's like normal clients only, we don't analyze receipts and payments. Now with this method, one thing is on monthly advances and deposits. Can I analyze receipts and payments? That means increase in my advances was how much? Recovery from customers was how much? How much is the new loan given? How much is the recovery which has come? If I start reading collections from the customers, new disbursements that I have done, am I in cash in or cash out month over month? What is this position of, if I is like branch extrapolate to the bank, going back to my risk weighted assets. In fact, that is why there's one certificate which you will also certify, where the banks on a quarterly basis send to the branch asset liability mismatch report. Okay, ALM reports that they submit. You also certify that ALM reports which you have checked are correct. What does the ALM report do is, there are two, structural and sensitive liquidity. One which will analyze the cash flows 0 to 30 days, 30 to 60, 60 to 180, 180 to 1 year, then to second year, third year, fifth year. My inflows and outflows, am I negative in any of the bucket? And expectation is, in the first bucket, second bucket, third bucket, I should not be negative. Expectation of the bank, expectation of the RBF and the bank is, I should not be negative in first, second, third bucket. That means I have depositors to whom I have to pay money, but I don't have the loans that I'm coming in. So that is the risk the bank is carrying. So then they have to, it's like, if after 1 year there is a negative, they are okay, because you have 1 year time to strategize and do thinking. Then again, if the overall is negative, that's where the RBI asks the question that I want you to increase your capital so that the overall negative should not be there. First 3 buckets negative should not be there. So you re-strategize what you want to do. And if the first 3 buckets negative is there, then they will expect that you need to keep your SLR, CRR, you need to up your thing, so that if someone comes, you can never say a depositor that I don't have money, I will not pay it. Right. So the next report they also see is some sensitivity of that, because every deposits that are maturing will not be withdrawn. Depositors will reinvest, renew it. So then they will also ask you to, what basis your maturity pattern, how much of that will be renewed. So the second report is also prepared. This is prepared by the bank. Now bank expect branch to prepare, branch prepares and sends it. Sometimes, most times it is system generated. They also don't apply their mind and keep sending it. We also have to certify one of that report, those reports which are submitted to RBI time to time are correct or not. We have to see that report. So we don't even see the cash flow statement, but we are signing this report. This, like Basel, this is another report. No one puts anything into it, and they will just sign that, yes, okay, they verified these reports, they are correct. But there, the expectation is the inflow outflow has to be reasonably be seen and understood. Honestly saying, at a bank, since there are internal controls, so much are there, there are someone who is verifying and taking it. You are saved because someone is seeing it. But if we don't check it, it's like our duty is not discharged. We are saying, like, the banks really pay good fees, 1 lakh, 2 lakh. It is reasonably good fees which is paid. Do not think that, okay, it is not an easy, it is a easy money they are giving. because they're expecting you to know so much, check so much, and then give an assertion. Honestly, 50% of the work, we just sign those reports without knowing what it is and checking it is. Because lack of knowledge and the time, that is like the pressures that have is after 10th, you will start getting, sir, is everything okay? Is branch cooperating? Do you getting all the reports? Indirectly, they're asking, when will you get out? When will you sign the information and give you? Now, you also need to withstand that pressure and give it. On top of it, you are expected to now look at all the CCOD accounts, that what is the repayment, are there credits coming into it? How will you check the credits coming into the customer accounts? There is another report, in Tally, where you get the trial balance, opening, current year debit, credit, closing, we get that. Likewise, you can also generate the customer movement analysis, just movement analysis, month over month, get that data, merge, again, run the query. So, Excel is the best audit tool for you. You need to know what reports are available, what reports needs to be downloaded, what reports needs to be analyzed. And for analyzing, you need to have the Excel formulas. Going back here, like we have seen graph, sum-if, VLOOKUP, concatenation. If formula is something, again, you need to know. This is required. If formula is required for you to know movement analysis of NPA. Last year it is NPA, this year it is not NPA. It's there in NPA last year, but not there in this year. Look at SMA2. The special mention accounts you can't ignore. System itself is flagging SMA2 in December. It's in SMA2 in December, but not as an NPA as on 31st March. How will you know? So if it's a simple formula, if this is equal to this, what do you do? If it is not equal to, what will you do? Next, this formula is also helpful when you are doing a categorization of the D1, D2, D3 or loss. A loan has been given and this loan has been classified into D1. We all know the moment it is doubtful, loss portion is 100%. Secured portion is only provided for. The security will be somewhere. Loss portion, there will be a different report. So if this is equal to D1, then you want to check this in the security list. Easy way is like you will apply a filter and you can do it. But how many times you will apply a filter? Rather, anything you are seeing an Excel data and you want to put it into a functional query. If this means this, else this, then if query is something which will be useful. So where do you use? NPA movement, security. So security report is something else. So for everything, separate reports are there. You only have to ask, okay, I want to see list of borrowers, their security. There will be a separate report which will download and you have to merge. You can't, they will not give you like the way you want. Like let's say when GST audit comes, they'll ask you the purchase register, he'll give you a purchase register. He is asking you to group that by this category, you'll say purchase register, you asked, I given you, you do whatever you want to do. It's like that. So the bank BO reports will give you anything. Merging BO reports into another report is your job. So you need to know how to merge that. The if report is also very useful when you have a change in the NPA date. If the branch has classified NPA date as X and you are classifying NPA data as Y, so what categorization it would be? Because it will be either there will not be an upgradation, downgradation would be there. So you will be able to again check that. And if it is an NPA, you want to check what is the interest debit during the period. So you have NPA list and the opening balance, closing balance. If there is an increase in the closing balance, that means some charges have been levied. So not permitted. So again, you have to say if it is NPA, if my closing is greater than opening, difference, this minus this, else 0. So apply that formula. It's a simple formula. Let me just show you once. So randomly I've just given. So basically you want to know if my opening is lower than the closing for an NPA account. So firstly, you want to know if this is an account is NPA, you will check if it is account is NPA, then again you are saying if my opening is greater than closing, then okay, no issue. You like else check the loan. Right? If it is not an NPA, not NPA. See, system has like I just given random some numbers. It said for the first one, it is an NPA, but my closing is lower, so it said no issue. Second one is not an NPA, so it said okay, not an NPA. Third one, my opening balance was 1 lakh, closing went to 1,57,15,000. It says check this loan. Third one also 135 went to 141, check this loan. Fourth one, it says it is not an NPA. Now, it's a simple formula. You just applied. It has just given you what is that action that you have to do. Right? Let's look at what is the formula that we have given. I'll just read the formula for the benefit of you. So, I said if E8 is NPA, if it is NPA, if it is yes, then, so every time when you see a comma, the comma indicates is like if, then, else. The comma indicates if, then, and else. So what we said, if it is an NPA, then what is that we want to check? If my opening is greater than closing, then I'm saying, okay, no issue. Again, comma, else. That means opening is lower than the closing. Then I'm saying, check the loan. If it is not NPA, I'm just marking it as not NPA. It's a simple if statement. So when you have again large data, you are asking some list from the large data. Again, this type of analysis that is like if is a formula, one has to use and one has to apply. This will filter out and give you a summarized information. Any doubt on the if formula?
Why is the banks reduce the term deposit tenure? Earlier they used to be 10 years, 15 years also they used to accept. Now
Right.
they are encouraging to go for 3 years like that.
Correct.
After 3 years they are reducing the interest.
Correct.
Discourage. But extending also 15 years, 20 years, 30 years. buckets, there is mismatch. They are using short-term funds for long-term users.
Correct.
And if they borrow users like that, they will say it is not a correct picture.
Hmm.
What is the?
Okay.
Bank,
A very good question from sir. Earlier, we used to have long-term deposits.
even 20 years.
Today, if you see rate of interest 0 to 6 months, maybe 4%, 6 months to 1 year, 4.5%, 1 to 3 years, 6.5%, 3 and above, 6%. Lower than the 3 years period, which means they are discouraging people to put long-term deposits. While the loan which is given, I have given a home loan 5 years, 10 years. Now the loans are given out of deposits. I have a short-term deposit, but it is a long-term loan. Isn't it misuse of the funds? Again, the answer it is for this. I remember I said about the sensitivity analysis of the structural liquidity and others. Expectation of the RBI is, I don't want you to be negative in the first 3 buckets. I don't want you to be negative in the last, which is total bucket. So you be healthy short term. Short term is 1 year. Next, bank can strategize, make positive in the subsequent periods. That's the first thing. So the RBI is okay for the mismatch. Second, banks are now worried about the fluctuating interest rates. Interest rates are fluctuating very high. It used to be FD interest rates used to be 6.5, 7, 8, 9 also at point of time.
14%.
As far as in 14% also. Now, if I commit to someone at 9% for such a long period, today we are banks are offering, the banks are very competitive. It's like someone who has around 100 crore loan, he will ask 8%, 9%, what is the rate that you are going to give me? Banks are also operating in that competitive environment. Hence, it is not wise for them to, because beyond 3 years is not a visible long period for the bank on the interest rate. I know you will be with me. If I am strong, you will be with me. But beyond 3 years, if I commit to you, I might be at risk. So that is the strategy which they have adopted, and you will see this last 10 years, this trend has changed, where you will not find this 10 years deposits. So this is another thing, interesting point. Yeah. Any other questions on this? Yeah. So otherwise, we have come to end of the discussion. We have seen the import of data, formatting of Excel sheet, conditional formatting. It is complicated, but it can be achieved through ifs. I'll not conditional formatting. Pivot tables we have seen. If formula we have seen. VLOOKUP we have seen. Preparing graph and the dynamic graph we have seen. All right, so
Thank you.
we have seen everything. Thank you. All right, so back to the organizers.
Thank you very much, sir, for your detailed discussion. I request Chairman of the branch, Netta Ravikishore, sir, to hand over memento to our speaker.
మీరు కూడా రండి.
మీరు కలుస్తారు మాతో ఫోటో
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So thank you very much for attending this 2 days conference. Small notice, we keep doing these type of conferences. 1 day seminars are 3 day, 3 hours programs. As we would did like last couple of days, please keep attending these seminars. Please walk into the branches and make the habit of coming into the branches. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Sir, end meeting.